All right, welcome to Advocate Gang and on this station. And today we will be looking at an episode. We're examining the growing trend of lawlessness, abuse of power, and the rise of non-state actors in enforcing the law in Nigeria. From the alleged torture of a young man in Emevo in Isoko North local government area of Delta State, while criticizing a poorly executed community projects, to cases of vigilante brutality and public officials, local government chairmen, some of them in Delta State, physically assaulting citizens for expressing opposing views. The program interrogates whether the rule of law is gradually given way to impunity. We also revisit the controversy surrounding the removal of former Delta State lawmaker Egbetama Collins and the alleged assault on peaceful protesters or a protester by local government chairman in UDU, raising critical question about citizens' rights, democratic freedoms, and accountability in governance. So the discussion will focuses on the increasing abuse of power by both non-state actors and public office holders in the country. So it highlights incidents of torture, humiliation, and unlawful punishment carried out by community leaders and vigilante group, as well as alleged assault by elected officials against citizens exercising their constitutional rights. Of course, today we'll be using the assault, the one of Emevo, the incidents, and the alleged assault on protesters. So we'll be looking at the incidents of the Emevo in Isoko North, and also we'll be looking at that of the State House of Assembly in UDU as a case study. So today we have a regular gentleman. To my left, we have a renowned journalist who have been in the practice for the past 15 years and a publisher of the Watchman, and also the Nation newspaper correspondent, Polycarp Orosowotu. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And also to my right, I have a public affairs analyst and one who is also a community relation analyst also, in the person of Wisin Okorubo. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Quickly, we will be looking at these two incidents. But first, let's start with Polycarp. Now, if we put it this way, is Nigeria witnessing a dangerous rise in jungle justice and unlawful law enforcement by non-state actors? How do you look at it?
Thank you very much for that question you've asked. Let me first of all dwell on the issue of the young man that was tortured
in Emevo,
humiliated, assaulted in Emevo by community leaders. It was shocking when I saw it on Facebook. If you look at the level at which this boy was being manhandled, I don't know whether it was sticks or a bamboo or what have you. There was not even any sign of pity on the young man with the way the young man was being handled no mercy, no pity. Until when I was going through down the report and I saw that it was issue of criticism. I was criticizing a project that was done in the area.
Yeah, poorly done.
In
the area.
Yeah, poorly done, and that was all what it was criticizing. If what the young man has seen, and that is exactly what he has commented on, what is the basis for attack on that boy?
Because he has his freedom of expression.
Yes. He has the right, democratically, to express his mind over what he has seen, over what he has read. So if you now think, as a community leader, you feel, oh, you are slighted or you are not happy, except they have political leaders who sometimes engage them in some of these actions they portray sometimes. If not, what should actually amount to that level of that humiliation, of that attack on that young man, just because he criticized a project that was done? Fine, if the project was not even good, or the project was not well executed, if you want to probably say what the man has said was wrong, you put up your defense on what the man had done, to see that yes, what you have said is not in play. Look at the correct state of what you are talking about, so the man will now know that yes, this is the position. But rather, if you watch it, it was disappointing. It was disappointing. And when I watched or read that Facebook post, I think it should be going about 4-5 days that this incident has happened. So I was imagining, so do we now say government officials or government people have not seen that, this that is going on? That they don't look at it, they do not see it, or they feel it is not necessary, or the boy really the boy really deserves that punishment that was being.
It took some time before he was.
But while I say so, let me also thank the area commander of Zoro, who actually also did well. I must give kudos to him, whether it was the committee that went to report to the area command, or it was the family that went to report. What mattered most is that actions were taken. That is really my joy, and that is why I'm actually thanking, giving kudos to the ACP Ozoro, who came out and did the needful by ensuring that justice prevailed. If not, it would have been something else. And from what I have read so far in the recent, I think about 3 or 4 persons have been
also been
I've been arrested. So and I yes, I've been arrested. Probably they will face the court and they've been arraigned. So I think it was a good one. I also, let me again give kudos to the area commander who actually acted so fast and ensured that yes, justice must prevail. Because if it were not done this way, others will still take laws into their hand. That is even weird today. I have the fears of this state policing. If community leaders could be going to this level of handling people the way they like, and the way they like, without nobody coughing, then where are we going to be if the state police reform something the act they are coming up with now being implemented? I doubt if we can leave our home or we can speak or we can talk with what is going on now. But we pray, even if it is implemented, we are seeing what is going on in our society. I hope and I believe it will not come to that level from what we are seeing in the Facebook, where only common community leaders could go to this extent, could go to this extent. Then it is worrisome. But we pray it shouldn't come to that. That is my position.
That will take us to the question of why do some public office holders resort to physical assault instead of allowing the law to take its course? It's almost happening everywhere. How do you look at this? Wilson?
Well, the truth is this. There's always a saying that you don't give what you don't have. Yes. There is no way you give what you don't have. I'll continue to use the average politicians in Nigeria, Delta in particular, as a case study. When we begin to look at office holders in the eyes of the law, and fail to realize their makeup and where they came from to emerge as leaders of our society, then we'll begin to have challenge. Well, the truth be told, what we see playing out in Ozoro, in Emevo, as a case study, is a reflection of the kind of leaders we have at the grassroots. And take it or not, these are the leaders that will obviously going to emerge as public office holders tomorrow. Whether at the local government, state house of assembly, and eventually even become a governor tomorrow because of the makeup of the system. And when these leaders emerge, because they are not used to the process or due process of law, they have no single knowledge of what is expected. They resort to jungle justice. They believe that everything must be achieved by force. If not, ordinarily, what will motivate a local government chairman, a man of that class, to resort to, assaulting people who came purely and quietly for the sake of protest? That should tell you that the kind of leaders we have in our society, they are not leaders who are, let me use the language, sorry to say, who are not well prepared for leadership per se. They are not well prepared for leadership. So whatever we are seeing in the society today, seen in Delta State today, seen in Nigeria today, is a reflection of what is happening at the grassroots and the kind of leaders that are already emerging. And I tell you for truth, that no matter how we try to want me to go after anybody we are going after now, it shows that the system is not truly preparing leaders, preparing the younger ones for leadership tomorrow. This should be a challenge to leaders of today now, to start putting what is needed, so that we will not be having leaders who will, by virtue of every opportunity, want to resort to force to address issues. They should see every protest as a way of those they are leading venting their own anger. They should see it as a way of the people talking back to them. They should not just see it as a way that only when praise singers sing their praise that it should be accepted. They should also see protests of any sort. That was a protest is peaceful. They owe the people the sense of responsibility to listen to what they are protesting about and also see how it can be corrected. Ordinarily, I wouldn't want to also shy away from the truth that at every point in time where our right ends, that is where another's own right begin. I may not be a lawyer, but this is the truth. Like what we were meant to understand from the protest that even occurred in UDU, it was purely within a church premises. It was around the church premises. Those who went for protest should also understand that when protests are being carried out, it doesn't mean that because it is our fundamental right, then therefore those who worships in that very particular places, what should have become of them? What were they expecting? That people whom you do not see every day or often, that when you are going to such places, there should also be a need to inform the Nigerian police, inform appropriate authorities that you are heading somewhere and you will be at so and so place at so and so time.
Because this one is a physical assault.
Yes.
By the chairman himself. The alleged physical assault.
Yes, we agreed on that.
Okay.
But this physical assault that was alleged now, as we speak now, they went there without noticing even the authority. No security.
He is for example, let's put it this way, he's the number one.
Yes, he's the local government chairman. He's the chief security officers
of that local
of the local government.
Yes.
Yes.
And again, let me wait. And again, let's look at it as maybe a protest that somehow maybe want to turn violent. Maybe that's why the chairman went there. That maybe he saw it that okay, it's no longer a peaceful protest, or
it's
maybe
almost erupting into violence.
The protester did not take, maybe did not go. Maybe they didn't go. Maybe meet the police. That okay, they are protesting, but it's a peaceful one. Maybe they didn't go that way. Do you just
what?
Yeah, let him round up with him.
That's exactly.
I'll come your way.
That's the angle to which I want to establish. Okay. We agree that there's a local saying. There's a local saying in the local palace that before you start advising the hen, send away the wolf. We agreed too well that government officials, most often non-state actors, take laws into their hand, most especially when they are being criticized. But we as citizens should also know our place. That's the place of preparing leaders.
Yes.
We should also know our place that for every protest there are procedures. There should be room for true involvement of security agencies, and everyone should know their boundaries. Everyone should know how to come in. That if I must protest, these are the rules. And as at when it is becoming like this, it's no more accepted. Because I can't be in my place of worship, and while people are worshiping, others are going round, or you see some persons outside. It triggers tension. Let's not try to dose it in one way or the other. These are all the sides to it.
And there was a program in that church.
Of course.
There was a program in that church.
So there was already an agreed or a programmed event to happen in that place. And nobody, without knowing who they are. Nigeria is a very funny place. Without knowing, you cannot just expect security to start leaving people gathering momentum by the day because you hold placards. Did we know how they come there? What were they holding? What was their intention? If these things are known to the police, then their security and whatever position they are standing as at that point in time cannot begin to reflect that. But even outside that, the local government chairman should have also done better. That's my position on it all.
Okay, let's come to you now. Now, does a peaceful protest, no matter how critical of government, justify the use of force by local government chairman or security personnel?
I think that is the area I actually had wanted to come in earlier. When Wilson was talking about the protests are not having gone through the due process.
Yes.
Yes, they never did, and that is a fault on the part of the protestant. They ought to have.
They did or not.
No. I said that would be
yes.
On the part of. If they did not,
yes.
So we do not know whether they did or not. That's why I said to be a fault on the part of the protester if they did not inform the police. Because ordinarily, before you carry out any whether it is peaceful or a violent protest, the police ought to have been informed that we are going for social protest. So it will be the duty of the police to give give you their people to protect you over whatever protest you are carrying out. And there is no limit to where you protest. There's no limit to where you protest. It could be in the church, it could be in the market, it could be in the police station, it could be anywhere. It depends on where you know your target, who you want to feel that protest is. That is where you go to. If people protest at the court premises, so there's no limit to where you protest and where you do not carry out your protest. Fine, they may be justified with the reason why they had got out for that protest. On one hand, then another thing to it is that even if they had even come out to protest against the issue of Collins, if that is even the reason why they have come out, remember too that all political leaders or appointees or what have you had their followers. Of course. So if you are trying to remove food from the mouth of their leader, automatically you are removing food from their mouth too. So and you expect them to be violent to some extent, even when there are some penny that they are being paid monthly, and you know that since he has been removed from that position, certainly the such money will not be coming to it. So you do not expect their followers to be calm and allow their master to stay where it is. So that may be what may have led to such protests, and they may have done that also to let the essence of protest sometimes it will let to catch the news of the public that at some place today there was protest. What is the name of the place? So free indeed. Now, because of what has happened, and it happens at Free Indeed Church, what happened now? The news is everywhere. Of course, the news is everywhere. Probably because of the caliber of people that were going to the church, to the church. So the news is everywhere that this was what happened at Free Indeed. But the question I'm asking, ordinarily, the local government chairman may not have been happy with what they may have happened, but there are still other ways you could pacify those issues without this altercation, without that slapping or injury whatever person. If you come out and tell them, please, yes, I know this is the reason why people had come here, but coming to church premises won't actually be best but leave this thing for me, I will address this matter. Then automatically, I believe the protester may have listened to what the chairman has said. But deciding to go on the violence way was what has brought to this level of discussion we are having today. Yes. So we believe that ordinarily, or even if you do not want to, probably be tempted with the actions of the protesters, you can as well see invite police. But look at what happened. It was after the attack you still come up with police, like they have said, to arrest some of the
boys.
After you've done what you want to do to them, you still went ahead to arrest them. So
So you should have gone for arrest first.
he would have arrested the boys. Yes.
Intervention of the
No,
police
yeah, that is the arrest. Intervention of the police. When the police
Before-
come, they can move them to whatever
Whatever
place. Then the issue could be settled later.
Okay.
But not after you have assaulted the boys, injured some of them. That before you now feel there was need for you to go take this matter to police when you've done what you feel fine. So to me,
It's still an alleged assault.
yes, an alleged
Assault.
no, yes, it's an alleged
assault, yes,
So we do not know the level at which our leaders are actually going, with the manner at which they are moving. Because ordinarily, to become a leader, it's not just something you just sit down one day and say, oh, it's a leader. There must be that intelligence in you to tackle any issue at whatever time it comes. But when you seek to violence in addressing every of your issue, the question of whether is really a leader or not will not come in. So that is the position.
Yes, quickly, these actors, let me say, these gentlemen, the public officials we are talking about, I happen to talk to them, speak with both of them. I'm talking about the local government chairman of UDU, in the person of Vincent Oyibode, and also I also spoke with Honorable Collins Egbetama, who the Delta State House of Assembly declared his seats vacant. Now, both gentlemen, first was Egbetama, and he said, okay, he's going the constitutional way, that it is on his part. The constitution, the law, will take its part, will take its own course in addressing if they are right or wrong in declaring his seat vacant. That's the law. The law will take his course. That he believes they are wrong. But the court will give has the final say. And also, I also spoke with the local government chairman in the Vincent Oyibode, who while speaking to me, he said that the local government UDU has not had it good before now. That protests have led to the burning of bank in UDU. That they don't even have bank then. The banks left. That even the one that came now, that any little protest will be like it will turn violence, and the whole thing everywhere we erupt into violence, and that why has it been UDU that is trying to bring in peace into the community? But any little thing like violence, that the thing he always look at it as, okay, UDU is burning again, UDU is going to burn again, that is not going to look as it has been. Now, looking at this, what legal consequences should community leaders, vigilante groups, or government officials face when they assault or torture citizens? Let me come to you.
Well,
we are not lawyers, but there are legal consequences, of course.
The truth is this: I still want to recommend the ACP Emevo.
Yes.
For being a little bit proactive in addressing the issue when it happens in a Emevo case, the Zoro ACP. Now, when leaders, most especially at the grassroots, at the community levels, when issues happen and they are swept under carpet, there is tendency that once there is no consequence for that crime, there is tendency that there may be a repeat of it in a more severe and tense manner, just like what plays out in UDU, that the honorable local government chairman was trying to explain his own part, according to you, several violent protests of this nature has occurred. If several violent protests of this nature has occurred, who and who were brought to books? How many persons were prosecuted? How many persons were finally justice was melted out for allowing a very a project of that nature of a bank leaving the entire local government. These are some of the things we are trying to address now. If, like what happened in Emevo, for instance, some persons who has already been arraigned, they've been taken to court. If that group of boys are prosecuted, sent to the prison, it will set a deterrent to other local community leaders. Everybody will sit upright. I tell you for truth, we are trying to look at violent and other crime-related issues now. It is applicable to every government sectors and every sector of leadership. If 1 or 2, 3 House of Assembly members are shown the way out after they serve their tenure and they are found wanting, if 1 or 2 governors are dealt with severely, you will see everybody sitting upright. Today we celebrate America. Are there no corrupt people there? They are. Yeah. But the system has been so spelled out that the institutions are established that for every crime that is committed, you face the law. And if it is also applicable to our system here in Nigeria, in Delta State, every other person will sit upright. Like what were all these pockets of issues we are seeing happening in UDU, happening in the Emevo. These are just a glimpse of the icebergs. If you take a critical look and you narrow your lenses down to what's happening in the communities, I challenge you as a journalist, if you narrow your lenses down to the communities and see the atrocities that are happening in all of our communities within Delta State, you'll be shocked. There are some silent ones that are being eliminated
by some leaders
that are being unlived. Some are unlived daily.
Actors we are talking about.
Yeah, some are unlived daily. Some are intimidated into quiet end, so that they will not be able to make comments or further make any statement as it affects the development of our communities and statewide. So if we really want to develop and really want to make real impact in the society, every community leader, whether at the youth level, at the central executive level, they all should be held accountable if truly we want to develop and we truly want to grow. So every crime that is committed, for every action that is taken that does not fall in line with accepted norm, should not be left unchallenged, should not be left to allow to slide. Is my person, is my this, is my that, because that's some of the problems we're also having. For every person that will be arrested by tomorrow morning, the big man ahead of him will call, now my boy, please give him a soft landing, please let him go. And that's some of the reasons why we're where we are today. So even if they are also arrested, they should also be prosecuted. Like I would also want to say that on this note, that those boys who are already charged to court, already arraigned and charged to court, the issue should not just be allowed to slide. Because before you, yes, the Emevo case. Yes, because before you know it now, the big men around who said, "Ah, my boy now."
Leaders and who asked them to do this.
So please,
there are some leaders who say, "Okay, go ahead, please, capture this boy, do this to him."
Very good. And before you know it, this issue will see slide. Nothing will happen. Nobody will be finally. Justice will not even be melted, but rather it will also be cornered in the way that it will be resolved. And mind you, that same man who did that assault will still come back tomorrow and tell you nothing did happen. If you misbehave, I'll do this to you, I'll do that to you. So these are some of the things that we must also address if we really want to say that for every crime that is committed, for every atrocities that is done, legal action should be taken. Legal actions will be taken, but to what extent and how will they be melted at? So it must be followed critically that if actions must be taken, every legal action that should be taken, it must be followed to a logical conclusions, so that others will learn from the process and not want to repeat it in a more severe or higher degree of crime rate that we're seeing around.
Yes, I happen to was looking at the talking about Delta State, looking at the 2 years anniversary of the various local government chairmen, and still we are still going back to the one of UDU, the local government chairman, and he said during his speech that I just tried to pick up that speech, and he said they are giving vehicles to vigilante groups, and he made mention that these vigilante groups that they are giving this vehicle, none of them will stand on the roads to collect money. That is not going to allow any of them to stand on the road, maybe trying to stop Okada riders or Keke riders to be collecting money as maybe as seen in some communities that you drive to. Now, let me come to you. Has political intolerance reached a level where our citizens are now afraid to express dissenting opinions without fear of intimidation or violence?
Let me first of all come to your last statement you just made about the council chairman giving
vehicles
vans to people, and they should not come to road.
Vigilante
it has nothing impact on the public, whether they go to the road or they not go to the road.
But we see people.
I'm coming. It has no single impact on the public. Nothing at all. The ones we have today that are vigilante, let me dwell on that issue a little before.
That are collecting,
no. Today, the kind of the vigilante we have today are doing what? They work with the police.
Of course.
They work with the police. So he cannot say because they have given their vehicle, that they will not do what they are doing. My brother is a big
that they should
that they should not do what are political statements. Those are political statements.
Yes.
Let us be sincere to ourselves. Fine. These persons you are talking about work with the police.
Of course.
And when they live with the police for a checkpoint, they work with them to a certain point in time, and the police may decide to leave. And you see them stay behind. Because they all are collected, so it is not their duty or their own as to continue the collection. So will the chairman be there to guide them, and to watch them
and
where they are going?
Yes,
sir. Even if they are reported,
it should be able to say
let us
another political statement.
let us not go there at all. It has nothing effect on the public, whether they will go or not. The problem we are talking about is that they should be able to contain the excesses of whether vigilante or this or that. That is what we are most concerned, and that is what affects the public. That is what affects the society. There are excesses, they should be able to be contained so that they should know the limit to which they are doing their work. As vigilante people, that is a major point and the area we are looking at. Now, coming from there.
On the issue of
this intolerance and what have you, I have earlier mentioned that I do not see what is wrong. Even if this protester had gone to free indeed, to protest and what have you, and the council chairman in his own wisdom decided to come out and talk with them. I don't think it would have also had gone beyond that.
Yeah, they were the premises of the church,
Premise of the church. Premise of the church. Did he not come out as alleged to attack one of them? In the same vein, he had used to come and attack one of the protesters. He would have also used him to address them, talk with them, even when he would not act thereafter. But at least he should do something to calm the situation at that time and let people live. There are sometimes you apply wisdom. Not at every given time it is violence. What does violence give? What does violence give? Now you attacked one, and what do you think is going to what is going to be the situation of the environment at that time? It's going to be tense just because you have attacked one of them, and there are others who are ready there to die. That if you attack one of our boys, also attack all of us. Like I'm saying, attack should not be an option to violence. There are other means to calm violence or protest instead of attacking protesters. Fine. And having said that, constitutionally it is there that we all have freedom of expression. We also have freedom of speech and freedom of opinion. All these are one area we must definitely look into seriously. But what we say sometimes is that if you have your freedom to express what you want to talk about, you have your freedom for opinion, you have freedom for this, we are only saying you should be guided with being so constructive in what you are saying. Because if you are criticizing and there are no facts on that you are saying, just look a little bit by your left side, there's litigation to that effect. If you are speaking, if you are saying what you do not know. So, but when you know exactly what you are saying, and those things you are saying are with facts, then where would you be expecting intimidation to come from? But though it happens, like in the case of the Ozoroso, the case of Emevoso, the man may have criticized on the things he has seen and which are facts, but because he do not also know his right, he was meted such attack on, because if not ordinarily, if he knows that yes, what he has said is in order, then you are coming from nowhere to come and attack me, or to come and slap me, to come and assault me because what I'm saying is right, then I think I will take it to the next level. Who even know now if it was even the boy, like we have said earlier, who took the first step to this police,
or the family,
like I said, who took the first step. So nothing is wrong by means of expressing yourself through speech, opinion, or what have you, but you should be guided by the fact that there are litigation, so that when you are criticizing, ensure there are facts in what you are saying, so that the person whom you are criticizing will know that yes, you are not just saying it, there are documents to that effect, and there are facts that is open to the public. So that is my summit.
Still on the intolerance, what will you have to say on that? The expression, the fear of citizens now.
Yes, the truth is this: if I must speak, I must speak nothing but the truth. If I must criticize the government, I should criticize in the interest of advancing the societal development that we have. But if I am speaking because I am biased, or because the government of the day is not favoring me, then I should be expecting a very strong how do I call it now, reaction from the actors.
Legal reaction, not abusive reaction.
It might come from different ways. Now, this is the truth. Let's not shy away from this honest truth. When you begin to accuse government officials or accuse people without facts, there is tendency that because the makeup of the society that we find ourselves, there's a tendency that they will react very differently, and in the course of their reaction, it might not even be lawful. They will take laws into their hand by reacting.
But taking law into
which is not also good. That's exactly where the place of tolerance will come in. And that will take me back to the issue of having leaders who understand what it takes to hold public office.
Okay.
There should be some level of tolerance from every public office holder. I always want to use Jonathan as a case study. Good Lord, Jonathan as a case study. Former president. Even when he was criticized in the heat up of elections, there are some funny comments, some funny names where he was being labeled with all kinds of names. The man stomach all of them because you understand that he's a public servant and he owes these persons some level of tolerance, irrespective of what they will say or what they will do to him. So that's exactly how it should also be with every public office holder. So long you are holding office, be prepared for criticism and learn to approach the issues in a very civil manner. Even when you are being attacked in a way that you know this ought not to be, as a public office holder, let's have that at the back of our mind, that we must address issues, we must approach issues in a very civil manner. That's the only way we can come out of some of all these protests of attack and violence, of all kinds of protests that's happening around us.
Okay, let's look at steps that should be taken. Let's look at what practical steps should government, we're talking about security agencies and the judiciary, take to restore respect for the rule of law and protect the constitutional rights of Nigerians. Now, what practical steps? We know that there are steps, but this increasing rate on how it happened now, what are the practical steps that these agencies, the security agencies, the judiciary and the government, what should be taken? Let me come to you, Polycarp.
I think we have witnessed one, or rather we have read one of such incidents if we are going by the case of Emevo, which is Zoro.
The response.
Yes, because from the level at which the matter has gone to now, meaning there was a practical step.
Yeah.
A step was taken, and that was why the police were now aware. And from there, those that meted those attack on the young man were now eventually arraigned before the court. And that is exactly what we are talking about at all times. Except we are not ready to be proactive in a lot of things that are going on in our society. The day you accepted leadership, either by government or by community or what have you, you should know too that tolerance should be one of the basics that you must work with. Working with tolerance meaning it is one of the factors that you must look into seriously if you must lead. Because as you are leading, so others are still leading you. So because you are leading and others are leading you, there are certain times that issues will come that may not be okay by you. But because of the place, because of the position you are placed, you're able to have that shock absorber to swallow in and not reacting to such thing. But if as a leader of a community or as an appointee or in an elected position for everything that happens, because you know you are the chairman of a council, because you know you are the governor of a state, or you know you are the president of a country, for every little step you can react to the level you think you can react, because you have every agencies of government or security agents just by your side that you can use, then we may not be helping the society in a real way. Then to restore this, if these boys that have been arraigned as we speak now, yes, could pass through the process we all wanted them to pass through, I think to some extent it has restored a very high level of peace, a high level of peace, respect for the rule of law. But when they do, like my colleague just mentioned, when they do, and at the end of the day, the following day, they are released to come out. They are released for their people, just because there's a political bigwig somewhere who says, oh, let me call the judge, let me call the commissioner, let me call this, let me call the DPO. I say, good morning, sir. Yes, I'm so person, or so political group, or so political this. Please, you arrested my boy yesterday. I know I've been trying to reach you, but there was issue. Please, can you release him so that tomorrow I will come to the office so that we can discuss issue. Before you know it, they ask of the boy's name, they go straight to the cell, release the boy, and the boy. So such boy that has been released back to the society, if he sees such person who he has attacked before, what would be the mind of that? What would be the fear of that person? That tomorrow he could still do the same thing because he has been arraigned once and he was released to come out. So these are things we must look at to the level that we should not be taking laws into our hands. And because we are leaders in our various capacity, we should not be thinking that because we have those powers, that we should start using them on the common man. Yes. At the end of the day.
Yes, quickly, let's get your take on this. Before we go, there's no time
the truth is this: if we truly want to restore respect for rule of law,
yes, and the rights of Nigerians,
it is beyond just what we see today. One, if we truly want to restore it step by step in the favor of every true Nigerian in the society, the government of the day must realize what it is when those who framed the constitution came up with the three arms of government. They were not hallucinating when it was done. The three arms of government must be what it is. And how do we get this done? That is the first frame of it. Those, most especially security men, who are saddled with the responsibility to protect lives and properties, must realize that there is limitation to what they can do and what they cannot do. When a policeman take up a citizen, lock him up in cell for 4 days, for 5 days, for 1 week, we cannot continue in that form to restore respect for the rule of law. A good example is the one happening in Okuama. Okay. I can't imagine that a professor, a scholar of the class of Professor Ato Ekpekpo, will still be in the detention in the hands of the military till this very hour as we speak, even when a competent court of jurisdiction has made a pronouncement that the man should be released unconditionally. Where is the place of rule of law? And tomorrow, when people begin to take some certain steps to act differently, we will begin to accuse them that they are taking laws into their hand. Okay. They should take laws into their hand because the law itself is not in their hands. So they will go any length to ensure that the law is taken into their hands. If we must restore respect for rule of law, what happened in the north must be equated to what will happen in the south. What happened in the east must be equated to what will happen in the west. There should be a level playing field for every law that is being applied in this country. That is the first step. If a big man's child, a big man's son committed a crime and you shared him, then a poor man's own committed a crime and you took him to court, prosecuted him and jailed him for 6 years for the same crime that is committed, then there should be no rule of law. Then we cannot respect the true law, the true respect that we are calling for. We cannot get it on that ground. That's my take on this.
I believe we need to round up because you just brought up the Okuama incident and bringing up the law on this Okuama incident. Okay, we'll round up on that note. You know, a lot of people, not just Deltans, Nigerians, are till date looking at the incident of Okuama and the kind of perpetual keeping these persons, including the professor, in detention till date. And we are not, a lot of persons, not that persons are saying, we know we are not in the military era, we are in a democratic dispensation, and this is happening. We want to round up with that. What do you have to say?
I think I supposed that the military should respect the rule of law. Like you rightly mentioned, that we are not in a military regime, and a democratic government, and it is expected that when the court rather has given a position on some certain issues, whether you are from the security agency or you are from the other side of it, at least it's expected that the law should be respected. The law should be obeyed. But when you start hearing it from a different angle, that the soldiers does not have respect for law, then it becomes an issue in this country. We all pledge to this country. We all pledge to the national item. We obeyed all that should be obeyed in the country. So why on the issue of the court, the issue of the law, then a certain agency of the government will say we are above this? Not what the court says that we do what we want, and that is exactly what is playing in the Okuama issue. If they were doing what the court says, by now these persons would have been released. But because they now, I was listening to a video clip some time ago where they said those that were defending the Okuama people were in court on this issue and expecting the army for their counsel or what have you to come over. I said whether on one or two occasions they never appeared. That it was on that ground the court actually gave that ruling that they should be released. But as we speak now, what has happened? They are still there because we feel rather that the military has no respect for law. But they would always want us to respect everything they say. Now, and you don't have respect. If you don't have respect for your law, you don't have respect for your country.
Yes, when during this Okuama incident, as we are rounding up, we we knew, we saw the efforts by stakeholders, especially the senator representing the Delta Central Senatorial District, the role he has been playing and the role he has played, and he played it to an extent that it looks as if he just believes that the military, it is their hand now democratically to obey the law and release these persons that this Okuama indigene that they detained. Now, looking at the extent the senator has gone, I'm talking about Senator Ede Dafinone, and also during one of the interview with him, he told me that he has done a lot, and he also said the governor has done something about it. Governor did not just look away. The governor is doing something. Now, do you think the governor has done enough? Because I'm putting it this way, because if you look at, somebody told me that when the incident happened, the governor is still in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and we're looking at the political solution. What should supposed to have happened? It was in the PDP then when the Okuama incident happened. Maybe there would be a kind of big the kind of differences. Maybe him meeting the president that, please, oh, these are my people, this issue, not just these are my people, this issue, let's look at it, this guy, how do we go about it? But now they are all in the All Progressive Congress, and some persons believe political solutions should be done. Do you think the governor has done enough in this issue of Okuama?
When you send a man on an errand,
Okay.
you're definitely expecting a positive feedback from the errand with which you have sent the person. If the person goes and returns back and start giving you a lengthy story about how he has gone, and the story is not
adding up,
it's not adding up, or rather the story is not getting through with what he was saying, you either cut him short and ask, so how did you now go? Because what everybody want to see is how did it end? So you I'm not saying a lot of persons may not have played their roles. They may have, obviously. But what
the number one citizen of the state,
I'm coming. Whether they may have played their role at one time or the other. But the bottom line is that how has their roles help the situation? Because the people are still there. When you say Senator Dafinone had said that the people are thinking that the governor had not done anything, the governor has not played any role, the governor has not making any contribution to the issue of their relief. Up till now, the people are still there. Nothing has happened. So how do you translate that into that result that we are talking about?
This is exactly where I have problem with Nigerians. With in bringing the governor, bringing the senator in, we are indirectly saying that a son of a nobody is a nobody in this country. That until you have somebody in Abuja, if you commit an offense or commit a crime, you cannot be freed. That's exactly how we are making the issue to look like. I really don't want us to start to bring in political insinuations or innuendos into what's on ground. What's on ground is purely a failure of a system, of a country where we have leaders, we have military officials who are acting above the law. It has nothing to do with the governor of the state, for crying out loud. It has nothing to do with the senator. The senator has actually made a lot of frantic effort. He has made a lot of pronouncements. He has done all that he needs to do. But what we are having now is that I want to honestly appeal to the CDS. I want to honestly appeal to the CDS to allow Nigeria, most especially Niger Delta State, Okuama in particular, to enjoy freedom by releasing Professor Ato Ekpeku and others in detention at this very particular hour, most especially when the court of competent jurisdiction has made a pronouncement on it. We should not play politics with the lives of people who are there. We agree that whatever that may have happened, allegedly those who were killed, whatever that happened, yes, it has happened.
Yes.
But what we should be looking at now is to pursue justice. I do not say those who are detained should be released and let go free. No, they will face the law. If they are found guilty, they will face it. But firstly, let's allow the rule of law to prevail by obeying the courts order releasing these persons unconditionally as
The court has.
the court has actually made pronouncement on it. Then once this is done, and in subsequent and in other pockets of issues that we're trying to look at now, we cannot begin to say yes, the rule of law is working in Nigeria. Otherwise, whatever that is playing out now that the military is doing to those Okuama detainees and whatever political action, whatever they are doing as at this point in time, it is immaterial until these persons who are in military detentions are released for us. So I want to honestly appeal to the CDS to do the needful and release them for us.
All right, the appeal is out there, and we believe the military should follow the due process,
And do the
obey the law of the land, because we are all under the law of the land. So, gentlemen, this is where we are going to draw the curtain on today's program, Advocate Gang. Do join us same time next week. Bye for now.
Oh.